Ahoy hoy, it's your boy attackslug back again with another You Should Be Playing, and today I'm looking at one of my all-time favorites. It is Earth Defense Force 2017 for the Xbox 360. It is the third game in the series, of which there have been several past that. Well, not several, but there's a Insect Armageddon, don't get that one, and then Earth Defense Force 2025, which is actually Earth Defense Force 4. But this is a game that I have not played much of on my console. I played way too much on my friend's console, and therefore, this is just kind of, I finished this on easy, and I did some medium and some hard, but I didn't really do that much on here. But I had a friend of mine, we played through hard and Inferno, and almost finished the whole thing, and it gets fucking ridiculous. My phone's going off. That's not what I want to be happening right now. Let me turn that down so that doesn't happen again. Alright. So, this game is about killing giant bugs and giant robots, and the scale is the thing in this game. It is the arcade-style gameplay. I guess we'll just jump into an earlier mission here, just to... if you've seen videos on this channel before, you've probably seen Earth Defense Force. I did both this game and the most recent one on episodes with Grim, made him play them. But I thought I would jump in here, if you haven't seen those, and say why this is a game that you should be playing, because I think everyone should play a little bit of Earth Defense Force. Now, the first two games in this series are not available in North America. They are available in English, but they're known as Global Defense Force, or something like that, over in Europe. I don't have those. I had the original Earth Defense Force 1 and 2 Japanese releases. And this is not a game you need any real Japanese knowledge for. You know, obviously having to select your weapons is a bit trickier, because you gotta, actually kind of just test them out and see what they do. And you're, not getting a description for your weapons. But for the most part, they aren't that bad to get through. I finished them, and I know zero Japanese, so if I can do it, anybody can do it. But the vehicles in this game, in these games, are not great. So there was Earth Defense Force 1 and 2 on the PS2. They were budget releases in Japan. And then Earth Defense Force 3, obviously, is on Xbox 360. So they changed from PlayStation to Xbox. And then, the amount of interest in the series ended up, bringing over Earth Defense Force, not bringing over, this is made in Japan by a company called Sandlot, but Sandlot, does business, or is owned by, I'm not sure, D3 Publisher. So, D3, who I guess owns the Earth Defense Force name, because it's not called Earth Defense Force in Japan, it's like Chichu Bojin something. I can't pronounce it, sorry. They said, oh, we have this developer who did, some B-tier games, and this is known as being, like a cult classic B-tier game. And so, we'll just have them make, an Earth Defense Force, and that should be fine, right? And so they made Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon, and it was terrible. It kind of ignored a lot of what made Earth Defense Force amazing, and that was a damn shame. Love that. Just one rocket, whole building. And that was a shame, because I really enjoy these games. So actually, I own all these games except for Insect Armageddon, because I rented it, I played it, and I was like, this does not belong in my collection. That is not a game that you or anyone else should be playing, because it was kind of terrible. So, in addition, they took Earth Defense Force 2 from the PS2 and ported it onto the PSP, and it kind of works about. I mean, it's functional. I have it. I have not obviously played it as much as I played the original on PS2, but not having a second analog stick is certainly a bit of a hindrance. But it works about as well as you could expect a PS2 game being ported onto the PSP would work. Now, this game was also ported onto the Vita, and it is fantastic. It is only available digitally, which, you know, if you're like me and you like to have a physical thing, the Vita is region-free. Just get another memory card, and I know they're expensive, but if you had a secondary memory card for your Japanese account, then you could get the physical version of this on the Vita. But otherwise, it's like 40 bucks when it's not on sale digitally. That price may have come down now, but when I bought it, it was 40 bucks, and I'm not particularly fond of paying that much for a digital-only thing. I'll do it when I have to, but if I could possibly avoid it. So yes, I did buy that digitally on the Vita. Haven't played that much of it, but just being able to support Sandlot and being able to support this series was a thing that I needed to do. So then, Earth Defense Force 4, aka Earth Defense Force 2025, came out, and that was like, it came out in August, or no, it was like July, in Japan, and then it didn't come out in the US until like February. It was like, so I imported, obviously, because I've imported the other ones, so not that big of a deal, and that's the end of that mission. So, clearly, I have a deep love for this series. I imported, they put out a tactics game called Earth Defense Force Tactics, which I can't parse at all, but it was like 20 bucks, so I imported it, because why not?
The harder the difficulty you attempt, the stronger the weapon select a stage.
I mean, there are different, like, I could go in here and you know, look at different equipment, but what I have at the moment is, you know, kind of what I played most of the game with, a machine gun and a rocket launcher. You know, when you play on harder difficulties, you get better weapons, which is kind of the point in playing on harder difficulties, you know, so you can keep up with what the game is throwing at you. But in general, it is just, you know, there are giant insects and robots, and they need to be dealt with. All of the buildings are destructible, so you can just kind of level the whole city. And it's just kind of a nice throwback to how games used to be, where, hey, here's a bunch of stages, there's kind of a plot, but it's not really important. I'm gonna skip this cutscene. It's not really important. What's important is how much fun you have while you're playing it, and I can certainly appreciate games that still are all about the fun factor. Not getting bogged down in cutscene story bullshit, just, hey, I'm gonna shoot shit, and it's gonna be great. And there is certainly room in my collection for games like that, and I certainly hope that Earth Defense Force 4 did well enough for them to make more of them. Who knows? Sandlot's a pretty small studio, and it takes them a while to get a game out. Case in point, this game came out in Japan in 06, and in America 07, and then 6 years later, Earth Defense Force 4, aka 2025, came out 2013, 2014. So there is certainly a big gap there. But in between, they made a game for the Wii that I have videos of on my channel called Zangeki no Regenliev. I have every stage of that on my channel because I could not find anyone else on YouTube who recorded every stage of that game. So as a service to YouTube, that is up. But those outside of the last episode, those are all done sans commentary. So there's no commentary there. But I did want to. I needed an excuse to play through it because I bought it when it came out and just I got sidetracked, as I tend to get sidetracked with video games like all the time, especially imports for some reason. So this game, personally, I feel it's not as good as 2, but trying to get 2 in an English form and working on an American PS2, kind of a hassle, so I wouldn't really recommend it. I guess the problem I had as compared to 2 is that 2 had better enemy variety, 2 had more stages, and those are kind of the 2 things you want from Earth Defense Force is the enemy variety and amount of stages. So Earth Defense Force 2 had about 73 stages, this one has like 53, and then it just has, there's a bunch of enemies that we saw in Earth Defense Force 2 and haven't seen since. There was like, you know, the Super Godzilla type deal, and there was like a Centipede deal, and to be fair, they did announce, or they did introduce new enemies in 2025, like the dragons, but the dragons kind of suck. I didn't like them. They had like these like bees and whatever else. So there certainly is, you know, a variety, but a lot of the game hinges on how much can we throw at you and will the frame rate hold up. So, not sure how much of that is really, you know, readable on YouTube, because YouTube locks the frame rate at 30, but obviously this game does drop to way below 30 when there's like way too much going on at the same time. And what's nice is that it's not a VSync issue. The game maintains VSync. There's not a tearing issue. It's just the frame rate literally slows down, which is kind of amazing and kind of a hallmark of the series. So it'd be weird to play this game at like a solid 60 without it ever dropping. Although I would still be all for it, but I don't know necessarily that Sandlot has the technical expertise to pull that off. But I still love them. I will look forward to anything and everything that comes from Sandlot. Actually, there's a PS2 game that they did called Robotic Alchemic Drive that I had not played, and I really should track down a copy of that for the PS2 and check it out, because it sounds like something I would totally like to play. The last time I looked at prices, they were still, you know, not great. Like, the game is, you know, a cult classic, so the prices are not going to be great on eBay or on Amazon. They're going to be a little bit too high for my tastes in buying a PS2 game. But I will see what I can do. That is certainly a game that I would like to look at. So the thing here is that when you're playing with your teammates, sometimes you want to leave one of the enemies alive because you want to collect all this stuff. Because, I mean, not the health, but, like, the stage will end, and you can see on my map there are still green dots that I have not gotten, and that could be more armor, and that could be new weapons. But the weapon drops are randomized to an extent, so you're not always going to get what you want in terms of... See, this is all stuff I already have, because I'm playing on normal. So that's kind of unfortunate, but this game, near the end, if you want to get all the achievements, and there are only like 6 achievements in this game, which is like a very 07 Japanese thing to do. There are only 6 achievements, but if you want to get them all, you're going to do some serious grinding, because you got to beat Inferno and you got to collect all the weapons, and since weapon drops can tend to be a bit random, getting them all is kind of a pain in the ass. We're going to head to this stage, and then we're gonna say goodbye for this video, because you kind of get the idea. You go in with some awesome shit, you shoot some awesome shit, and things blow up, and it's awesome. And that is why it is a game that I think you should be playing. If not this one, go pick up the new one, because the new one's still pretty good. It's got different classes. They took some of the ideas from Insect Armageddon and put them into 2025. But it still has that Sandlot polish. Like it's so not polish, but it still has that Sandlot charm, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. And there are just a lot of spiders, and they are not happy. They are gigantic and not happy. Near the end of the game, you will get to enemies that are about 10 times the size of these enemies. And obviously, these guys are already pretty big. They get even bigger than that, which is crazy. The game does a really good job of giving you a sense of scale. Like, making you feel insignificant in the face of insurmountable odds at any given time. And as someone who plays a lot of video games, I can really appreciate that, because there are games that just don't do scale well at all. And that is unfortunate. But I'm not going to sit here and name names or anything. It is not. It is not my job to name and shame developers who are perhaps not great at certain aspects of video games. So now you can see that was the first wave, and then that way is the second wave. It was supposed to be a pincer attack. So you can imagine playing this game on, or playing the stage on hard, hardest, or Inferno, where the way that they handle hard, hardest, and Inferno in terms of scaling up the difficulty is that the enemies are stronger, obviously, but they're also faster. So they will get up on your face real fast. And things go south really, really fast. You spend a lot of your time just running the fuck away. Yep. Pile of rubble, that wasn't not my fault, I swear. So you can see here they're trying to do a pincer attack on us. But this is on normal, so we should be okay. But on anything higher than normal, you are just running the fuck away, because those spider webs will drain your energy pretty damn fast. And that is unfortunate. Actually, I might have up this TV a bit too loud. I'm hoping that my talking is loud enough to, Shut up, guys! I understand there are spiders. Stop screaming. So yeah, this is the game that, if you like just kind of old school arcade action, if you like shooting giant things that explode into giant pools of green blood, which actually is a change for the version in the US. In Japan, the blood's red, and they wanted to make sure they got a T rating for this and not an M rating, because that would have impacted the sales. Not that I think this game sold all that well, but it was certainly a cult classic. And I'm all about the cult classics. As long as they play well and are fun to play, I'm all about them. There are certainly a number of cult classics that are not fun to play, but they're important for one reason or another. Alright, 17 minutes here, or 16 minutes here. So, just to show you some of the scale here, we're going to fight, this dude here. And we'll go crazy, just put it on Inferno. This should go real fucking poorly. We'll put it on Inferno and just die right away. That's okay. That's a good way to end the video, is just getting our ass kicked right away. I do sometimes prefer to use the missile launchers and not the rocket launcher. It really depends on the situation. A lot of the stages are very situational in terms of how you want to pick your weapons, but in general, having a machine gun and having a rocket launcher is a pretty good combo to have. So, this dude's not happy. Yeah, he's big. He is a no-armed Godzilla, basically. So, the giant lizards in the last game, in 2, were kind of a lot more closer to infringing on Godzilla, but they kind of went off in a different direction for this game. So, he's way over there. And he's just fucking shit up with his lasers. So, we're gonna just run in here like an asshole and see how it goes. Oh, hey! That can't, no. That can't be good. I always did like the fact that the scale, I should not need one of that. The scale here with the rocket launchers will kind of just go forever, which is great. I don't think my launcher is strong enough for this, because this is just going to go real poorly. But we will do our best to fight this gigantic lizard thing and kill it. But I assume if it steps on us, we're going to, yeah, be almost dead. Yep. That went real well. So if that happens again, then I am boned. But if he's distracted, then that's a different story. But if he decides to look at me and go, I'm gonna step on you, that's just gonna... Oh, well, that was his tail attack. Alright, I'm dead. That's Inferno for you. 2 hits. Done. He was not happy. So, that's gonna do it here for me, attackslug. This has been You Should Be Playing. This has been Earth Defense Force 2017 for the Xbox 360. Highly, highly recommended. Go check it out. I'm sure it's way cheap now. Pick it up, play it, enjoy it, love it. This has been attackslug. I will see you next time right here on this channel, and I'm out.